Welcome to Frankly Cigars. I'm Joshua Harris, and this is Lisa Sigler. Did I say your last name? Did I get it?
Correct.
All right. She works with the PCA now. She has a myriad of jobs that she's had prior to that within the cigar industry, and we're really happy to have you with us today.
I'm happy to be here.
What is your official title with PCA?
Senior Director of Membership Development and Industry Relations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you know.
All the things.
So when did you smoke your first cigar?
My first cigar was at Civil Cigar Lounge in D.C.
Wow.
Paul Spence gave me my first cigar. I was with La Polina at the time, so that was maybe 12 years ago. I had my first cigar at Civil.
So you had a job in the cigar industry prior to having your first cigar?
Yes.
Okay.
But
all right.
in all fairness, I was with Bill Paley 5 years before he got into the cigar industry.
Okay.
As his personal assistant, managing his books and properties and different things, his foundation and business ventures.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 years later, he decided to bring back La Polina and reestablish his grandfather's cigar line. So this industry fell on my lap. So in all fairness, like, yeah.
So you had 5 years in an industry that you weren't planning to get into, but then when it got into it,
yeah, eventually.
So you were new at it, but you had 5 years in.
5 years not in, because I was with him before he got in the industry.
Okay.
So I was hired to do something different, like manage his properties, his bookkeeping, his finances, and any personal things. So it was different. I wasn't really in the industry, and then he decided to do that as a business venture. I still hadn't smoked because I originally was hired to manage his office and himself.
Right.
So with time, I eventually smoked.
Do you remember what cigar it was?
Yeah.
What was it?
Don't judge.
No judgment. We listen and we don't judge. I think it's the trend.
It was like a CAO, like berry type flavored cigar. And Paul was like, "What are you smoking?" And I was like, "I don't smoke." He was like you. He was like, "Wait, you work for La Polina?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the office manager. I'm not a rep." So he was like, "I'm going to get you to smoke your first cigar, and I'm going to build your palate." And in my head, I was like, whatever that means, build my palate. So he was like, "Have you smoked anything before?" Like, I was like, hookah. So I think that's why he picked the CAO. And I believe he used to sell for them. Like, he represented that company before he started working at Civil. So so from there, I started with that, and then it grew. He did grow my palate. And next time I visited Civil, he was like, "Are you ready for your next cigar?" I was like, "I totally trust you. I enjoyed the first one." And then it was a Nat Sherman.
Yeah.
With it was like it had a sweet tip.
Okay.
But it wasn't like the little cigarillo CAO.
Yeah.
And then after that, when I was at the show with La Polina, I went from the Nat Sherman to a Rocky Patel 20th anniversary.
Wow.
So it totally like changed, and I started trying more cigars, and it went from there.
And it's crazy because I think sometimes as being in the industry, as long as you and I have, we lose sight of the fact that some of these terms might smell or taste differently to people that don't know them. Yeah. So when you say you're going to build somebody's palate, now you and I know exactly what you mean. But when he said that, you're like, with sticks?
I just didn't understand what that meant because I didn't understand the different blends and mild, medium, and full body. Like, I didn't know what that meant. So then it started making sense as you're learning and through the journey of trying things and building things.
When I used to work in a shop, I would tell people it's mild, medium, or full, or Sprite, Coke, or birch beer, because everybody has those they know what those parameters are and what falls into that. So if you know a mild cigar and you can compare it to Sprite, I had a Sprite before. I know exactly what that means. And even the contrast between them. But speaking of drinks, what's the thing you like to pair with your cigar? Is there a drink that you pair with your cigar? You have a lovely Prosecco today from 1865. Cigar, seafood, and drinks.
Cheers. Normally not Prosecco. Just starting light right now. I find that an espresso martini is really nice.
Really?
Because you have the component of the espresso, and then I'm more of a vodka or tequila drinker. And those don't have the flavors like you would with like a bourbon. Yeah. So an espresso martini, because some people pair coffee with their cigars. So it's sort of like that with alcohol. Also, I had in Vegas one year at the show. I had a chocolate old fashioned.
Oh wow!
And you know, with cigars, there's like profiles of chocolate at times, like natural profiles. So the chocolate old fashioned was really nice, and pretty much it was chocolate bitters that made it a chocolate old fashioned. So it wasn't sweet or anything, but it just had that flavor, and that was nice just as well.
It's interesting to me sometimes when you smoke a cigar with a different beverage than you've had it with before, and it brings out a whole new side of the palate. Like it complements it or contrasts it differently than you would think it should.
Yeah. So always try something different, or if I'm sometimes a red wine or a white wine, depending on the cigar.
Is that your advice to a new cigar smoker? Just try something different. Try as much as you can.
Try and explore it and see what works, and just rotate on different things and experiences and your mood.
Yeah,
I think that makes a difference too. Your mood.
And to me, my advice to pair on that would be not to go with what your friends say, because how many bad cigar advice segments have you had in your life where people say, "Oh, you need to smoke this," and then you go and smoke it, and it's terrible or it's not what you want because it's what they like in their palate.
Yes.
So,
and it doesn't really mean it's a terrible cigar. It just didn't work for you. Just like with wines, I always compare that with wines. Like, I might not like rosé, but that doesn't mean it's terrible. It just doesn't work for me. So it's the same with the concept with cigars.
So speaking of things that don't work for you, what's the biggest unwritten cigar rule that you don't like?
Only one? There are a few. But
what's the top one? What's the one that you what's the one that you see the most often?
I dislike when you're at a cigar shop or lounge, and there are the tools, the community tools, that are either at the cash wrap or in the lounge area, in case you didn't bring your own, and somebody takes their cigar and does this, and then does this. Like, why? Why would you do that? And then other people are supposed to use that same tool, and you just, it's like double dipping. It's unsanitary.
Yeah, it's unsanitary.
So I don't like to see that, and I've seen that also, like when I was a cigar sales rep and I was manning the table with the cigar deals that I'm giving out for the brand that I work for. And again, you have the tools there, and they do that, right? Like, stop. Please don't do that. If you feel the need to do that, then just have your own tools for yourself, and you can do whatever.
And you don't have to activate the sugars in the cigar anymore, because that's what that's from. That's from the old school. The way that the cigars were stored was terrible, and so people had to actually lick the cigar to reactivate the sugars to make the cigar smokable, because it wasn't humidified properly. So people who see people, like I've seen people lick the entire cigar, and that's all well and good if we were back in like the 40s when you had to do that, or the 20s even.
I always wondered what was behind that.
They saw somebody.
And that's what I love about you. I always learn something from you. Like you have so much knowledge.
Well, I appreciate that.
So I love that.
What was the moment you felt like a real cigar smoker?
I would say when I learned all the proper etiquette, and being able to smoke traditional cigars in mild, medium, and full, like we talked about earlier. So being able to rotate and try new things and apply all the things I've learned, and I continue to learn. Like now.
You learn on a daily basis, and it's not something that you're ever going to master. It's not something that you're ever going to be like, oh, I know everything about cigars, because there's always going to be somebody in a room, and you and I have both been in rooms where like, oh, they know that? Okay, well, I'll just be over here and be quiet.
Yeah, no, it's good, and you should be open to continuing to learn about the cigar world.
Yeah. Speaking of learning, what was the last cigar that surprised you?
I would say the Liga Tridente Il Bambino.
Really?
That's Marlon Wayans' cigar. I was with him at one of his events in Atlanta. He invited me to his event, and I smoked it for the first time with him.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I just couldn't believe it. I loved how smooth it was. It was full of flavor. The draw was perfect. And I was like, I'm ready to buy a box. And it's not often that I even sit here and say I'm going to buy a box of cigars because I'm gifted cigars. So like,
well, and so many times celebrity cigars are not the best cigars in the entire world.
Right.
And so you smoke them and you're like, okay,
right.
this is nice. Yeah. No, please.
You're right. And that's what made it surprising because of what you just said. So he really wanted it to be special because it was the name is the nickname his mother gave him.
Oh, wow.
And she had passed away, I think he said 5 years ago. So it was like a tribute to her.
Yeah. And
so it had to be right. He wanted to make sure the blend was perfect for the meaning behind it. So I need to go get some more of those. They're really good.
So then that leads us to, what's your favorite cigar? Do you have a favorite cigar right now? Is there a favorite cigar ever? Like, is there something? So the way I throw this to some people is, if somebody's going to get you a cigar for your birthday, they should get you a.
The Padron 50th anniversary. The Maduro.
If you think she's talking to you, it's because she is talking to you. Yes, Padron 50th, please. They come in a nice little 10-count box. It's not that hard. Like,
there's so many though. I also like the Oliva 135th.
Yeah,
that's really nice. And another one that surprised me. You can only get it in Italy. It's made for the Italian market. Toscano's Limoncello cigar.
Really?
Yes. It comes in a small box, 5.
Okay.
And they're little cigarellos, and they're not sweet just because it's limoncello.
Wow.
You probably assume that it's a flavored sweet cigar, but it's not. It has a clean finish from the lemon.
Wow.
Because lemon does
no.
that.
And it's after dinner drink, and that's a big deal. Like in European countries, is okay. We've stuffed yourself. Now have this little tiny drink, and that will go ahead and smooth out everything. Isn't Aperol in the same family as limoncello? Like
limoncello is sweeter.
Okay.
And Aperol is more of a bitter liqueur.
Okay.
So not really. And whenever I know someone who's going to Italy, I'm like, please look for the Limoncello Toscano. They're not in America. They're only made for Italy. I was in Milan, Italy 2 years ago, and I went to cigar shops looking for it, and they're like, yeah, that's a hard one to get.
Wow.
So I'm thinking it's more in southern Italy, since Tuscany is more of the southern region. But if you're ever in Italy, you gotta find that. It's so good, and it's very clean.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is one of my favorites, surprisingly, because I was not expecting that.
And I had that early in my career where I was smoking like these amazing cigars, and I got brought in, and Padron was one of my first hand-rolled cigars. And so I start and set the bar up here. And so then when you have other things, you're like, this isn't as good as that. Right. And then you find out, well, that's pretty much like the top of the mark. Like that's, as far as consistency and everything else. So
yes, please be open-minded. Yeah.
Is there an accessory that you can't live without?
I was really thinking about that, and I feel like the accessory would have to be the lighter, the torch lighter, because if I don't have a cutter, I can just do the old school pinch. But if I have the cutter and I don't have the lighter, like, what am I gonna do? So.
Well, and we had Leroy from ATL, and Leroy said that he had lit a cigar on the stove and then ran outside of the house to avoid detection because he didn't have a lighter on his person.
Yeah.
And I admitted on that interview to lighting a cigar on a grill before, like having to lit the propane grill outside and lean over to get the torch torching effect. So I understand. And
the lighter. I think it'll be a lot easier, right? And not having to be creative and worry about other things trying to light your cigar.
So you've worked with La Polina, you work with Gran Habano, you now work with PCA. So is there anybody in the cigar industry that you've been epically impressed by? Like, is there anybody that stands out that's the person who impresses you?
Oh, who really impresses me is Michael Herklots.
Yeah.
I love listening to him when he's a speaker on stage. He speaks so well. He has a lot of knowledge, just like yourself.
Well, thank you.
And he's been around for a long time. He doesn't walk around with an ego. Like, he's such a good guy, and I just love learning.
It's almost like he doesn't know who he is.
Well,
like it's almost like, do you understand who you are? Like, you're Michael. Like this is
so, and he'll have your back, and he'll like tell me if I ever need anything to call him. Like, he's just so genuine and full of knowledge, and just gives out really great information. If you're trying to learn something or need a mentor, that's the guy along with you.
He'd probably be a great interview for Frankly Cigars.
I think so, for sure. Michael?
So this is the end. Is there any questions you want to ask me?
How long have you been in the cigar industry?
So when I used to work at a shop, I would say that I started smoking in 96 and started learning in 97. And I was self-taught for a lot of that. And I walked into a shop in the mall, and the owner of the shop in the mall said, well, what are you smoking? And I was very proud of myself because I got in a hand-rolled cigar from a newsstand. And I said, oh, I'm smoking this. And that cigar was immediately removed from my hand, and a Padron 4000 was put in my hand. Cut and lit, and there you go. That's what you should be smoking. And so I haven't worked in the cigar industry that long, but I've been a cigar guy since, 96, 97. And for me, that's the moment where it was kind of like, okay. But I've always thought, and everybody says the same thing that you say, oh, you have a lot of knowledge and you always know this information and that story and everything else. But it's important to me that if people are going to come to the shop or come to this location or come to anywhere, and to have the information, to know that cigar bends didn't start because Catherine the Great didn't want tobacco on her fingers, that they were just an advertising thing where they could delineate their cigars from other people's cigars. And somebody mentioned one time that there was a hailstorm in Connecticut. And so then that means that we know that 3 years from now, after the tobacco that should have been picked then and should have been aged, there's not going to be any Connecticut broadleaf in 3 years. So the cigar prices are going to go up and cigars won't be able to be made. And that kind of information has always been the kind of paramount to me. So I would say, 97. I would say I wasn't getting paid to be in the cigar industry, but I had a great time being in the cigar industry. And, I think that you can agree that it's not always the first job you get in the cigar industry that's the best one for you, but you continue to learn, you continue to grow within that love that you have for cigars. And you and I are both very lucky because we both get to get paid to talk about cigars and be about cigars and everything else. And I just wanted to extend a thanks and congratulations to you guys from the cigar industry, because the show that you put on at PCA is not perfect, but it is amazing. And to get all those people and all those moving parts together and follow the union rules, and is it going to be here this year? Is it going to be there that year? And a lot of it goes into what you guys do. And so I appreciate you taking time from your schedule to be here.
Thank you.
This has been Frankly Cigars with Lisa Sigler from PCA.